Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily. It's Wednesday, August 24th, here with Greg Lawless. I'm Nick Fershaw. Greg, got a lot of news to get to, but let's start with Tuesday night in the CONCACAF Champions League. MLS team suddenly making it look easy down in Mexico. The Seattle Sounders go down there and they get a big 1-0 win over Monterrey.
Yeah, we remember last week all of the hype and everything that came out when Dallas get a victory against Pumas in Mexico City. Well, the Sounders do it themselves. They go to Monterrey. Remember, they are the CONCACAF Champions League winners from last year. So they're technically the best team in CONCACAF. Many people consider them the best team in Mexico. No problem for Seattle. They go down, and they don't even have all their guys. But some of the big boys did show up. Alvaro Fernandez was fantastic on this night, and he gets the goal in a 1-0 victory. It's a beautiful, well-worked goal that I think Seattle should be very proud of. And then the defensive effort. They withstood a lot of pressure from all those great strikers from Monterrey. Humberto Suazo, De Nigris, all those guys were pushing, and the Sounders held strong.
So the Sounders move atop Group D in the CONCACAF Champions League. Let's look at Group B. There was another game last night. The Colorado Rapids going down to Honduras. They face Real España. They come away with a 1-1 draw. They had the lead, and they blew it late.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to get the 3 points out of this one. Jeff Laranowitz with a goal right before the halftime break. Nice little goal, puts it in the lower 90, and then they give up a goal in about the 87th minute to get the draw. Still, doesn't matter. MLS teams undefeated so far in CONCACAF Champions League, and Colorado going down to Honduras. It's not an easy place to play. It was very hot down there, and it didn't matter. They got a result that they'll be happy with, I think.
You mentioned 7 games for MLS teams, and they haven't lost yet. We'll see if that changes on Wednesday night out in Group C. Toronto FC at home against FC Dallas, so 2 MLS teams very familiar with one another. Toronto FC talking tough, saying this is a brand new Toronto team. Some big expectations. Can they pull this one off against FC Dallas?
It's going to be difficult, obviously. FC Dallas, though, only 1 point in their last 3 league matches. Now, what Toronto are talking about is that they've faced this team before. They lost both times 1-0, but one of them was sort of a controversial play, and the other one was just a Breck Shea golazo. Aaron Vinter, their coach, saying this is a totally different TFC. So we'll see if that's actually true. Let's remember, they did lose their last league match at Chicago.
That game is at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox Soccer. There's some other news surrounding this one as well, and that's George John, who's not going to play in this game, the FC Dallas central defender. Greg, we found out yesterday that Schellas Hyman maybe didn't even see this move to England coming. It definitely caught him by surprise.
Yeah, I think it did. And, we've been talking about it now for a couple of days about George John, how he had to fly to Greece to get his passport and his ID, and then up to England to finish the personal terms with Blackburn, and Hyman coming out and saying, you know what, the guy didn't really want to be in Dallas anymore. We're not going to stand in his way from this opportunity for him to go play somewhere else. So I actually think Hyman is doing a good job in just managing all of this and saying, here's a player that didn't want to be here. Well, you know what, we don't necessarily need him either. And he brought up Kenny Cooper, another player who wanted away from FC Dallas at one point, and he said, look, when we lost Kenny Cooper, we sold him. We used those resources to build the team that we have now that is obviously a contender for MLS Cup.
And Kenny Cooper eventually landed back with the Portland Timbers. There in action on Wednesday night up against Chivas USA. That's on Match Day Live. And Greg, this for the Timbers, for both these teams actually. They're both on the periphery of the playoff picture. What do you expect from this one?
This is going to be a good one, I think. Chivas USA feeling very confident after that 2-2 draw at Colorado. Their own coach, Robin Fraser, coming out and saying it felt like a win to get that draw in Colorado when they came back to do it, and Juan Pablo Angel getting his first goal for the Goats, too. On the Portland side, a good 2-1 home victory against Vancouver. I think that helps their confidence. They feel like they're just a couple of points outside the playoffs. They could get in. And then don't forget, they then had a reserve match the next day, and 10,000 people showed up for the reserve match. So there's this buzz around Portland as we've seen sort of all season. It's almost like it's growing. And this is a midweek game at home at night that I think they're obviously going to sell out Geldwin Field, and I think Chivas has a battle ahead of them.
Again, that game is on Match Day Live at 11 p.m. Eastern. You can follow along there. One last bit of news we want to get to, and that's about Robbie Keane, the LA Galaxy striker. Greg, we talked about whether or not he had fallen out of favor with the Irish national team. Seems like he's doing okay.
It seems like he's doing okay. Their coach, Giovanni Trapattoni, has called him in for their next European qualifiers on September 2nd and September 6th. There was a lot of talk when he moved to LA of like, oh, it's as if he's left the Ireland national team. He'll never be called in again. The Irish media themselves were like, oh, this is his retirement from the Ireland national team. There's no way Trapattoni would do this. But you know what? You have to imagine that Keane spoke to Trapattoni before all of this happened and said, do you mind, or, is that okay? Are you still going to call me in? He's the captain. He's the leading scorer of the Irish national team all time. Yeah. Of course he's going to call him in, and he has.
And Robbie Keane set to depart for Europe after that big game against New York Red Bulls at the end of the week. And he's also slated to be on Extra Time Radio, which comes out on Thursday. We're going to talk to Robbie Keane about all his expectations in MLS. But that does it for us. For all the latest news in MLS, log on to MLSsoccer.com.